Hallucinations are bad enough, but after a while you learn to cope with things, like seeing your dead grandmother crawling up your leg with a knife in her teeth. Most Warpstone fanciers can handle this sort of thing, but nobody can handle the other trip. The possibility that any freak with a couple of crowns can walk into the 8 points and suddenly appear in the sky over the mortal realms 12 times the size of reality, howling anything that comes into his head. No, this is not a good town for psychedelic drugs. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fluffenhammer.
Every man lives, not every man truly dies.
Hey guys, how's it going? How you all doing at the moment in this, in Nurgle's reign?
Nurgle's reign.
He's in the ascension at the moment, isn't he? He's in the ascension. But I tell you what, when this passes, it's going to be a proper Slanesh time, I'm telling you. There is going to be like a bacchanal. It's going to be like the whole Thanatos and Eros thing. Humanity is just going to explode out of its isolation, and there's going to be, well, for one thing, there is going to be a whole host. There's going to be a whole like baby boom. That's for damn sure.
Well, the idea is that there's going to be in 9 months' time a huge baby boom, and they're going to be the quarantines.
Yeah, the quarantines. Yeah, like that. There will be some like generational divide there.
Oh, absolutely,
definitely. Yeah. Which is going to be really interesting. The Corona generation, you know. That's so interesting. I wonder. It just makes me fascinated. You know, I wonder, like psychologically, what effect that has. Culturally, what effect that has. I wonder what effect it's having now on children who are obviously not having the experiences that the vast majority of their forebears did as a result of this. So we're having a dramatically different experience.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're too early on now to see any real change. This is still a blip. But once we get into the 3 months, 4 months, that I think is going to when we're going to start seeing sociological changes, and they're going to be massive.
Yeah, I think so. I think they may be the sociological changes may be bigger than people have anticipated.
They're going to be seismic, without a shadow of a doubt.
I hope they're for the better. I hope they're for
Fingers
good.
crossed.
I really do. Fingers crossed, I really, really do, because we could do with a bit of it, couldn't we?
We could do with a little bit of happiness. It's
it's
been a long 5 years.
There's been a lot of, it's been wearying. Yeah. I will say that, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a wearying, like...
half-decade.
Decade or more, to be honest.
Well, yeah.
There's been a lot of stuff. There's been a lot of stuff, and I'm tired. I'm tired.
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of had enough of wars and pandemics and economic collapses and everything else that goes with it. I've had a bit of enough. That said, there's a lot of lovely stuff out there too at the moment. There's a lot of lovely stuff going on. I really appreciate the way Games Workshop have actually coped with all of this.
Have you seen what they've done with the paint factories?
No.
The paint factories are now creating hand sanitizer.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
What I really like is the fact that GW ended up in the Letterman's list of companies that are doing really well by their employees.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, they've spent the last 4 or 5 years really building up a good reputation.
Yeah.
With their customer base and whatnot. It would be folly to throw it away now.
Oh, absolutely, and they're doing a fantastic job of it. And to be honest with you, I have come to really enjoy these Saturday previews.
Me too. There's a slight sense of all in it together, lads. Isn't there? There's a slight intimacy to it, which I rather like. I've got to say.
Well, when I was watching that, I was talking to you at the same time. I was talking to Stu. I had a couple of other messages going at the same time. Also, I was taking all the videos and stuff from YouTube and put it into the group and getting the pictures into the group. And for 2 hours, I had a really, really good time.
It's fun, isn't it? There was a nice sort of event feeling about it too. It's like something. Oh, this is happening on Saturday. This is fun. Let's look forward to 2 o'clock when it all kicks off. It was nice. It's fun, and I like the fact that they've staggered the reveals a little bit as well.
Oh yeah.
So this one maybe wasn't as seismic as the last one. There wasn't as big a set of reveals, but there's still some very lovely stuff going
Well,
on.
yeah, we're going to go through that stuff and do what we always do, which is use it as a launching point to talk about different things.
I mean, for me, obviously, there's nothing as big as Fabulous Bill was.
Well, no, but I think there's definitely some stuff in here which is really interesting.
Although,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, and surprising. I was surprised by some of it. I was really, some of the stuff towards the end, I was very surprised by.
yeah. Oh, we are going to talk about that, but I'm saving the best till last,
Oh,
as I
yeah.
always do. So
Absolutely. So what shall we get like this? I feel so bad for ragging on it so much, but shall we get the Lord of the Rings stuff out?
yeah, we'll get the Lord of the Rings stuff out the way. So the Quest for the Ring Bearer, which is the latest
Yeah.
edition of Lord of the Rings, the tabletop strategy game, to give it its
Mm-hmm.
full name, TM registered copyright, and yeah, it's
Some new Rangers and
yeah,
whatnot
so you got
from
some
the
new I think what it is, they've got 8 years left of the Lord of the Rings.
like the license. Is that what it is? Yeah.
Do you get the feeling that they're not going to keep it after that?
Well, what would be the point, really? Unless they really wanted to go nuts and make their own version
Yeah,
of like that. I'd actually be interested in that to see how they reinterpret it and everything.
they can't. They can't. The license
Of
is.
course they can't,
No,
can
the
they?
license is.
No.
It is movie only.
Of course, yeah. So no, what would be the point?
Yeah.
What would the movies are done?
Well,
What would
20
be-
years ago done.
Right? Yeah, of course. What would be the point? I think that they'll get what they can out of it, and that will probably be it.
I think it
you
also
know?
depends on how well the Netflix series does, because
Yes.
that's incoming,
Well,
isn't
is
it?
it the Amazon
Yeah.
series?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Aye.
Which is, by all accounts, one of the biggest budgeted TV shows ever made.
So that could be interesting.
It could be. I mean, I'm fascinated given the time period that they're looking
Yeah.
at, which is, it's sort of the age of Numenor they're looking at, isn't it? Sort of before the events of the Lord of the Rings, when there are still these very godlike figures striding around Middle Earth. And it will culminate, I imagine, with the collapse of Numenor, so the Atlantis event.
Yep.
And it means Sauron will be a character.
Yeah, and that's going to be interesting.
He will be Anatar, the giver of gifts, which is the form that he came to the elves and the lords of men in and showed them the craft of ring making. So, yeah, that would be very interesting. Like, it's his fair form,
Yeah. Before the
which
corruption.
he uses. Yeah, it's what he uses to collapse Numenor, basically, and drive it into anarchy. He's still a bastard. He's evil by that point. He's well evil by that point. But it's his fair form. Because Sauron is a bit of a shapeshifter in the Silmarillion. When he first comes about, he takes on lots of different forms. There's like a vampire bat form that he takes on. There's a werewolf form. There's all sorts of different like characterizations that he has. But he loses that capacity when Numenor falls. That form is broken basically, and his spirit can't take that form anymore after that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
But he's done his job, he's collapsed Numenor in on itself. And Numenor actually is Atlantis, basically. It collapses beneath the waves. And then you get the survivors become the Rangers, the Dunedain, who then eventually give birth to Aragorn, who kind of becomes like the redeemer of their line, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's why Sauron doesn't like him very much, and why he's quite scared of him.
Consider the conversation we were having before. If he had been played by Russell Crowe, then I wouldn't have liked him either.
I wouldn't have liked him either, no, quite frankly. No, I wouldn't have either. But then again, I mean, Viggo Mortensen wasn't the first choice either, was he? It was they were looking at Stuart Townsend.
Really?
Yup, for Aragorn. And for some reason that changed. I don't know why. I can't quite remember why, but it changed. And they found Viggo. God, that's another bit of like movie serendipity, isn't it? That's like a miracle from on high, because he is Aragorn. He's just perfect.
Oh yeah, he is the walking embodiment of Strider. It's ridiculous.
Right, it's absurd, isn't it? It's absurd in the same way that Ian McKellen is Gandalf, and Christopher Lee is Saruman, and it's Bernard Hill is Theoden. It's ridiculous. The casting in those films is like miraculous. It's miraculous. It's just, it's like some movie cinema god was looking down upon the project and just casting their beneficence across
All
it.
the muses got together and went, right, this is going to be a
Right.
team effort.
Right, yeah. Brad Dourif as Grima Wormtongue,
Oh,
for
yeah.
God's sake. I mean, it's like, it's perfect. It's just
In fact,
perfect.
I would struggle to find anybody in those films which wouldn't be a good cast.
like, just a good cast.
Yeah.
I can't... what's his face as Denethor?
Oh, yeah.
The Aussie actor.
Name has gone out my head.
Yeah, it's just on the tip of my tongue, but it's going, unfortunately. But he is amazing. Probably one of my favourite performances in the whole
Yeah,
film. Actually,
yeah.
I really love the way he plays Denethor. Whole thing. It's just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful casting.
There's actually two things about this this preview which stand out, which I've just realised one of them. And I've just come back and had a look-see. Have you ever noticed that the Lord of the Ring bases are brown?
Yes, I did notice that. Yeah, they're sort of, are they painted brown or are they casted
I think they're
brown?
painted brown, but if you look,
Yeah.
the majority of GW bases are they're always on black bases, or
right.
bases that are the same colour as the scenery that's on the base.
Oh, they used to be very green once upon a
Very,
time.
very green. All the Lord of the Rings one are brown. And that's
Yeah,
an interesting
interesting.
little heavy metal thing I've just noticed.
But yeah, I mean, the miniatures look fine.
Oh, yeah,
They look
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
They look, I mean, they're of the same standard as the miniatures you get in any other game system at the moment. They're pretty damn good.
The
But
yeah,
that,
yeah. The other thing that I find interesting is, have you actually read the blurb that goes with it?
no, I haven't.
There's a bit in there that I quite liked. Quest of the Ringbearer allows you to retell the epic story of Lord of the Rings, TM, through loads of interlinked narrative missions as you follow the Fellowship through their
Okay.
greatest battles. This is a great way to rediscover the Middle-earth strategy battle game of your youth, or if you're a new player, experience the joys of guiding the Fellowship through epic moments you remember from the motion pictures. What's more,
Ah.
you'll be able to forge your own Fellowship from your favourite characters. How would the
Right,
quest of the
so-
Ringbearer go if Bilbo decided to carry the One Ring to Mordor himself? What if
Right.
Saruman was his wizard? And not evil,
Yeah.
obviously. Otherwise, it's a very short quest.
So it's kind of fantasy football. thing.
Yeah,
You can,
that's quite cool. I like that.
That's quite fun. I do like that idea because you can role play a little bit, can't you? You
Mm-hmm.
like, what if Eowyn somehow went to Rivendell
Yeah.
and was on the Council of Elrond, instead of maybe Boromir or someone like that?
Mm-hmm.
That would have been very interesting. What if one of instead of Legolas, you had one of Elrond's sons, Elrohir and Elrohan, going to with the ring bearers, or what about Glorfindel?
Yeah.
God, what if he went? Because he's like an elf lord. He's like a god,
Mm-hmm. See, my question is, what if it was no one but Tom Bombadil and Bjorn the Bearman? And
Oh, in that case, they'd have just slain all before.
and then
them,
you just got
wouldn't
the
they? They'd
best
have
buddy
just-
movie ever,
Yeah, right. Yeah, and also no one can touch them.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You've got like the two opposites there,
Mm-hmm.
and they are like some of the ultimate creatures in that universe. I mean, Tom Bombadil just can't be touched by anything,
No.
as he demonstrates, and Beorn is just a monster.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I can see that working. I could definitely see that working.
I think that.
What if Sam had become the ring bearer?
Yeah, yeah.
That'd be cool.
Like
wouldn't it?
Frodo dies on the way to the
Yeah,
elves. and
from the Nazgul
Yeah,
dagger. Yeah.
yeah.
The Morgul blade.
the
Yeah,
Morgan
of course.
blade.
I love that, the Morgul blade.
It's just
That's
such a
very
great
cool
word. You get so much
concept.
bite into it. Morgan.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, it sounds like what it is,
Mm-hmm.
basically. It sounds exactly like what it is.
I've always
But yeah,
wanted
it's
to
fun.
do a detective series set in Middle Earth.
Right, okay.
Because there's a certain line, and it always makes me think of it's the way they say Mordor, right?
Yeah.
Or certain characters say Mordor, and it always just makes me think, Taggart, there's been a murder in Mordor.
Yeah, Mordor. That's actually how you pronounce it
Yeah.
as well. That is like
No,
the,
it's
correct,
not the-
the correct pronunciation.
I think it's done by people who can't roll their R's.
Yeah,
So you
Mordor.
don't get the roll of the R, you just get Mordor.
Mm.
And it's really cool.
I mean, as someone who was like a bit of a Tolkienite in their youth, I really appreciated that about the live action films.
Yeah.
They really went deep into like getting the pronunciations right. Whereas the Ralph Bakshi cartoon just bloody doesn't.
Oh, the Ralph Bakshi cartoon is...
Just doesn't bother.
Do you know what annoys me most about that cartoon? Right, going completely off topic. Do you know what really
Right.
gets on my nerves about that cartoon? Right?
Was that?
Everything that's evil is that full motion video style of...
It's rotoscoped.
yeah, that's the word, rotoscope.
It's
Right.
rotoscoped, yeah. It's that technique that Disney used to use in their early days, where you have a live action actor,
Yeah.
and they draw the cells over, they trace the cells over the live action footage.
Yeah. Only
It's very
the
cool.
demonic things should have been like that.
Yeah.
Because the orcs and the goblins in the Ralph Bakshi Lord of the Rings, they feel out of place because they're not ethereal. They are flesh and blood
Yeah.
creatures.
Yeah.
And as a result, you think, all right, so there's a herd of demons coming at you.
Yeah,
and
right.
it really always just sat wrong with me. Have you
I mean,
seen
this-
the other animated Lord of the Rings?
Oh, you mean the Rankin Bass one? I have, yeah, and it's not good. It's not good. I mean, the voice acting is atrocious. It's a shame because I like Rankin Bass.
Oh, yeah,
I used to love Rankin Bass. Flight of Dragons, The Last Unicorn, their adaptation of The Wind in the Willows is absolutely stunning.
Yep.
I always love Badger's song in that, where he sings "I hate company." It's actually really good for these days. Like, it's all about social isolation. It's so cool. But yeah, it just Rankin Bass were not the right people to do the Lord of the
No,
Rings,
no.
unfortunately.
And they
It's
went
the style.
so weirdly anime with it. It was odd.
Yeah. It's strange. It is strange. I mean, The Flight of Dragons is one of my favourite films ever made. I will unambiguously evangelize about The Flight of Dragons until
Preaching to the
until I
converted on
die.
that one.
You know,
Yeah.
but their adaptation of The Lord of the Rings is not the best. It just isn't. Ralph Bakshi's Lord of the Rings is a weird one. As an adaptation of The Lord of the Rings, it's not very good.
No.
They get too much wrong. They mess about with too much.
Why is
but
Aragorn a 70s Native American?
That doesn't make any sense. I mean, also, why is Boromir like a Viking? Why is Boromir like a Viking stereotype? Boromir comes from the most civilized race of men on Middle Earth. He comes from Minas Tirith.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. Why is Sam old and weird? He's young and handsome for a hobbit. In the books, he's young and handsome. He's younger than Frodo.
Yeah.
You know? There's lots of weird stuff. Why does Saruman wear red?
Yeah, that's one that always...
He's Saruman the White.
Yeah, that's one that always bothered me. I couldn't get my head around it at all.
It's weird, but there are things I really like about it. I think the ring rates are handled beautifully.
Oh yeah, they are terrifying.
They're terrifying, and the way they warp reality around themselves. So whenever they occur, everything goes twisted and weird and dark, and I love that. I love it to bits. They've got such atmosphere. But there are problems. There are problems. The Balrog with slippers is a real problem.
Yeah. Oh.
I remember seeing that as a kid, because I'd read The Lord of the Rings by that point. And I was like, nope.
Although my favourite thing about that film is it gets through the first book and a half. So it's into the second book, and then it just goes, thus ends the first part of Lord of the
it just
Rings.
stops, and you get like Frodo, Sam, and Gollum just suspended out in Mordor. And it's like, what?
It's because they ran out of money.
It's Bakshi, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's notorious for going over budget, and like well over budget.
Oh yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Notorious for it. It's a bit of a mess.
It makes me laugh though.
Yeah.
Should we move on?
Anywho, yes. Should we do Blood Bowl?
Yeah,
Should we
because
do
I
Blood
actually
Bowl
want to talk about
next?
these
Should we go for
guys.
Blood Bowl? Although I'm not a Blood Bowl player as such, but there's some stuff in there I like.
Well, these tree men that were coming out for Blood
Yeah.
Bowl, right? For a start off, let's get the thing out the way. Akhorne the squirrel.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, it's brilliant. When I saw it was a Blood Bowl preview, a little bit me went, oh, okay, fine. And then I saw the tree man with the squirrel, and I perked up. I just perked up and started paying attention.
I actually really want these for...
They're great!
It's expensive, but I want them for scenery.
Right, okay.
Because I think, because looking at them, you get 2 different sets of arms, 2 heads, and a couple of other little bits and bobs to
mess about with, basically.
So I think this would look like a really, really good skirmish game objective marker, where you can have this thing come to life in the middle of a forest battle.
It'd make a great objective marker for the
Oh
Sylvaneth,
yeah, yeah, and I've got a
wouldn't it?
real urge to do Sylvaneth recently. So,
I like them a lot.
oh, it's because I read Dark Harvest.
Mm, I knew you were gonna say
Oh,
that. You read the Warhammer's horror stuff about the Sylvaneth, and it's bloody
oh, they
horrific.
are. They are
It's
absolutely
horrific.
horrendous.
It's like this is like proper fairy tale, like really down and dirty, proper folklore stuff.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I'm really impressed with the horror stories about the Sylvaneth because it's
Oh
great.
yeah, I'm really into them. I've got ideas coming out the wazoo of what
Mm.
to do with them.
Also, the miniatures are pretty.
Yeah, I've got ideas for those miniatures.
I cannot believe I'm sitting here now praising what is essentially the wood elf derivation
Yeah.
because I can tell you now, once upon a time, if you asked me blind what was my least favorite army in any game system for Games Workshop and in any background, it probably would have been the wood elves.
I can see that.
It probably would
I
have
would
been
have
the
probably
wood
gone for
elves.
high elves as my least favorite.
Mm.
But yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from because
Yeah, but now,
yeah, I mean, what you've got
whoa,
here is just these monstrous creaking boogeymen coming out the woods to get you.
love
You
it.
know, these are
I
meant to be
love them.
allies, and they are just not.
They're just not. I mean, they're even less trustworthy than like the Blood Brides of Cain.
Yeah.
You know, because they're entirely their own entity, aren't they? They're entirely their own force. They do what they want, and that's it. They're all about protecting their groves, and if anyone trespasses, it doesn't matter if they're Sigmarite or whatever, or they're ostensibly allies, they're gonna get chomped.
Have you come across the Prince of Thorns yet?
No.
So the Prince of Thorns, he's got a couple of different names. I can't remember his actual name now. He's in a load of really short stories about Shadespire.
Okay.
So his basic story is that he fell in love with a mortal woman, a human woman, and of course, as these things happen, she died. So he's
Right.
constantly on this quest to find a way to be reunited with her. He's actually quite an interesting character.
Yeah, I like
He's got
that.
this wooden sword with him, and the wooden sword does no damage to your body, but it attacks your spirit.
Okay.
It drinks deep of your spirit. And he's got a little spite that he's trying to teach how to be more civilized, less evil.
Okay.
Because obviously the spites are these little mischievous monsters.
Yeah, right.
you read.
They're proper fairies, aren't
Oh, they are, and proper.
Brownies
Yeah.
and things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't leave milk out for these little bastards. They are going to. Yeah,
Yeah.
they will come to you and they will take off your skin to see what your insides look like,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
laugh and run away. They won't kill you; they'll just take your skin off. And he's trying to teach this thing to be less malevolent.
Okay.
And you've just got these wonderful little stories of him going off and doing stuff. There's a one with him in Shadespire fighting the mirror spirits as they're trying to trick him and trying to get him to do things. And he's like, I don't want to be doing this, but I feel there's no other choice. And the sprite's like, let's go. No, this is a bad place to be. And I recommend the really, really cool little books, little short stories. They're all on Audible now, actually.
Right, I might have to check that out because I do find myself attracted to those stories now.
Yeah.
Where I wouldn't have been like before. And I think the same is, I know we're going to get onto it, but I think the same will happen with the Lumineth.
Well, shall we dive over to the Lumineth?
Shall we? Shall we? Because after these previews, I like them a lot more.
I really like them. I'm not going to get into them.
No, I probably won't. There may be one or two miniatures that I paint for myself.
Yep, Cow Mountains.
Yeah. Oh, Cow Mountains. Yeah, absolutely. I love that mage.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love the mage who's floating. The miniature designers are just showing off.
Well,
They're showing off because it's like, have you seen how it's all put together? Like how the fine little points by which it hangs and balances. It's really clever. Really clever and beautifully designed.
once again, I just have to draw attention to the blurb that comes with this, right? Because in the blurb it says that this the box set that they're showing, this is a small peek
Yeah.
of what to expect. Little asterisk, and the asterisk says not to be. Let me just go right down to find it. because I don't want to get this wrong.
Hmm.
It's a small peak, as opposed to a small peak, which is what this chap is sitting on, and it shows the sorcerer sitting on his tiny mountain.
Yeah, love it.
And it's whoever wrote this stuff is a comedic genius, as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned, because there is such a great sense of humour in this preview.
Yeah, it is, and because they look like they're going to be a very serious army,
Oh,
don't they? Look,
yeah.
they're going to be like very dour and dark and whatnot, which is ironic for an army named the Lumineth. But yeah, I like them. I think they're really cool. I can see a lot of conversions happening between them and the Adriani. I can see that happening a lot. The Shard of Eltharion, is that what it's
Yep,
called?
yep.
The Hollow Knight thing is stunning.
He is somebody, isn't he? He's somebody reborn from the old world.
Yeah, he's the Dragon Prince.
That's right, yep. The Light of
he was-
Eltharion. There we go.
That's right, the Light of Eltharion. Yeah, that's right. He was one of the main special characters from the world that was.
I will
What
say,
yeah,
whoever sculpted this thing,
well done.
yeah, it's incredible. It's absolutely
Yeah.
incredible. How?
Very ambitious.
Yeah.
Very ambitious, but works stupendously well, I've got to say. I'm interested to see where Tyrion is.
Yeah. Is Tyrion
Because
going to
it
have his own little army?
Yeah, because it doesn't look like he is a miniature, does it?
No.
It doesn't look like he's a character, which is fascinating. I wonder why. I wonder what the background is for that. Because if any of them you would have expected to have stepped back and to be guiding things from afar, you'd expect it to be Teclis.
Yeah, but Teclis seems to be taking a much more hands-on approach to the elven race.
Oh yeah, doesn't he just actively recreating them?
Yeah. I
failing.
wonder if we're going to see something more akin to the Phoenix Riders coming out for Teclis.
Yeah, so that would make sense, wouldn't
Yeah.
it? Because
Phoenix
something a bit more,
Guard,
'cause
sorry, not Phoenix Riders. The
yeah,
Phoenix
they're
Guard.
split down the middle, aren't
Yeah.
they? The Lumineth. You get like the Tyrion ones and the Teclis ones,
Yeah.
and I imagine the Teclis ones are the more the magic-based ones,
Yeah.
the arcane ones, basically. Whereas Tyrion's are going to be more martial. Yeah, that would be my guess anyway.
Yeah, I would say you probably bang on the money there, because there's a lot of the, I don't want to say floatiness because it's the wrong word, but there's a
no.
lot of the Winds of Magic type design that takes place in the Lumineth. Whilst I imagine Tyranid being a much more boots in mud.
Martial,
Yeah,
a bit
yeah.
more martial. Yeah, absolutely. And I wonder if they're going to play a little bit more with this whole elemental thing they have going on. So are they going to be warriors who are more fire-based? Are there warriors that are going to be more earth-based?
I'm
that
intrigued
kind
to
of
see what
thing.
the endless spells are going to be.
Oh my god, they're all going to be elemental,
Oh
aren't
yeah,
they?
yeah.
If they're really cheeky, they could make the elemental spells like references to Hero Quest. That would be good fun, wouldn't it? If they made them like the elemental creatures from the cards.
Well, considering the fact that they've already done a Hero Quest little nod
You a little nod, yeah.
with
yeah.
the that pack they did last year, which
Yes, the furniture.
yeah, where
Yeah.
they had the Hero Quest 2-minute.
It had the tomb, didn't
did.
it? So they could do that. They could do that. But I like the idea. They aren't all going to be elemental, obviously. So you're going to get a fire one, a water one, or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's going to be interesting. I imagine one of them will be a phoenix.
I can
Like
imagine.
a fiery
I can
phoenix
imagine
or something.
Phoenix. I've just thought the Deepkin never got any endless spells, did they?
Not yet, but they will. They will, I'm sure. And I mean, one of the more interesting things. I mean, I'm going to get the book because I want to
yeah,
know
yeah.
what they're about. I want to know what the Lumineth are about. I want to know how they relate to the Ideneth. Do they get on or do they not? Is it? I imagine they don't because Teclis rejected the Ideneth, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's going to be a real sense of not hatred, but a real sense of
friction.
Yeah, I think friction's not strong enough a word. I think what you'll find is that the Lumineth will be they'll look down at the Deepkin as being
I
mistakes.
think so. Lesser.
Yeah, they're
maybe even as abominations
Yeah.
that they just have to put up with for a time.
you can imagine the type of thing of a Lumineth looking at a Deepkin and thinking, though you wear my face, we have nothing in common.
We have, yeah, right. I can definitely see that, and even with the Sylvaneth, I can imagine them thinking the same. You know, you are debasements of the elven
Yeah,
soul
yeah.
rather than the reality of it. That's going to be especially true for certain aspects of the Blood Brides, like the snake women and whatnot. They're not going to like that.
No, 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 no,
They're
no.
too Slaneshi, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're too Slaneshi. I mean, Marathai tried to hide her true form for the longest time, didn't she?
Yep.
Funnily enough, though, Teclis responded to it quite well.
Oh,
He was one of the only ones who did. Apparently, he's the only one who actually listened to her when she was telling the rest of them, like Sigmar and Malarion and whatnot, telling them that, look, Slanesh is going to get out. Eventually. It's not going to hold forever. But Teclis listened to her.
I want to know what else is going to happen. What other weird paradoxes are going to take place in order to break those chains?
Oh, to make the chains break. Well, a lot of them have broken.
Yeah. I think.
A lot of them have broken. Archaon broke one of them.
Yep.
Like actively broke one of
Yeah.
them. And were it not for the War of the All Points, you know, were it not for Catacross and his lot, he'd have broken most of them.
Yep. There's a
I mean,
couple of things
that-
which really interest me. That I love the ideas of chains of paradox. That
Yeah, it's great.
they
isn't
will
it?
only break if certain conditions are met.
Yeah, and it makes sense that using that to bind a god makes a lot of sense.
yeah,
I like
yeah.
that a lot. I do like that a lot, and I like the way Slanesh is clever enough that he can manipulate them, and he can manipulate events from within his prison to shatter them.
Yeah, yeah,
That's very cool, I've got to say.
Oh,
Slanesh is going to get out.
yeah.
Eventually, Slanesh is going to get out.
I wouldn't be surprised because I think we're going to have a big run towards the end of this year of 40k. And
Yeah.
I think next year will be a real big run of Slaneshi expansion.
Well, Fulgrim will be coming in 40k
Yeah,
at
yeah.
some point soon. It's absolutely the case. They just keep hinting all the time. You
It's
know,
ridiculous, isn't it?
You know, they're just big teasers. They are just big teasers, and I love it. I think it's great. You know,
I want to know how far ahead the GW roadmap is. Because at this point,
I'd love to
it's
know.
feeling like they've got the next 10 years planned out.
It feels like there is a real, which, you know, before you didn't get the sense of. You know,
No.
it felt a bit random, it felt a bit slapdash, but yeah, it does feel as though there's a real plan now. You know, and we're having all of these wonderful updates. I mean, Garthkul, we've had Garthkul back, and he's immense.
Oh, he is an awesome,
He's
awesome figure.
immense. He's
Yeah. There were
huge.
tons of people
And-
complaining that he wasn't big enough. And I'm just,
He's massive. He's like the size of a dreadnought. Like out of his armor, he would be massive. In his armor, he's like a vehicle.
Yeah,
He's like you know Primarch scale. He's ridiculous, and he's not like the equivalent of Abaddon or of Marnius Calgar. He's the equivalent of Mortarion.
Yeah.
You know, he's ridiculous.
I think you mean Prime Orc.
Prime Orc, yeah, right. Yeah, an amazing piece of work. A big beefy miniature.
Oh yeah, I'm actually tempted to get that at some
They've
point.
gotta do Yarick.
Yeah, this is weird because they've made Thraka the opposing side to Ragnar Blackmane.
Ragnar Blackmane, who's actually again very very beautifully updated
Really,
miniature,
really nice actually. Yeah, I like that a lot.
and an utter swine. Have you seen his rules?
I have. Good.
Utter
grief.
swine. Like one-on-one miniature. He's a beast.
Yeah, he really
He's a
is.
beast. He can like dish out like over 10 attacks per turn. It's ridiculous.
The only thing that's stopping me doing any form of 40k army at the moment is the lack of Primaris Terminators.
Ah, well, I'm sure eventually down the line
I
that
love
will
Terminators
happen.
so much, and
I
they
like
just look so
Terminators
small
too.
now.
It will happen. I've no doubt. Eventually, somewhere down the line, it will happen. There will be Primaris Terminators. I hope they're rare. I don't want to see them all over the place.
No.
You know? But I'm sure it will happen. There'll be an elite unit of Primaris Terminators or something like them. Something akin to them, you know?
What do you think of the Lumineth box set then?
I think it's great. I think it's really wonderful. It's loads of stuff in it.
Yeah.
Loads of stuff in it, and I like the fact it's all in there. You know, the book and all that stuff. Yeah, it's a nice starter set, I've got to say, and it's enticing. It's actually quite enticing.
Yeah. I just wonder, is this going to be the blueprint for going forward?
I imagine so.
Because
Yes,
if it is,
because
that's really nice.
It's fine by me.
Yeah.
I prefer this to. I mean, I like the availability of the bits and pieces for conversions.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but I do as insofar as getting forces go. I hope this is the way they go
Yeah.
forward. I
It's a
mean,
good
the
way of
one
doing the
I'm
start
really looking.
sets.
I'm sure there will be a set for it, but War of the Spider
Ah,
is.
ah,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
making your own custom Chaos Warband. Oh god, yes, please.
Yeah. Well, there's also going to be the Death Guard in there.
Yeah, the Death Guard don't need any more. Come on.
Well, they're going to get Victoria now, so you're going to have like different Victoriums in the same way you've got the cults for the Thousand Sons,
Yep.
which are, by the way, are a little bit game breaking.
Yeah.
Some of them are a bit naughty. Some of them are a little bit naughty. You can do some really, really nasty stuff with some of those cults, especially if you mix and match them. If you go for like two separate detachments, one of which is of the cult of magic, one of which is of the cult of time, or manipulation, or deception.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. Oh, the cult of deception is borderline OP at this point.
Really.
Borderline OP. Well, it's all about altering things like reserves and the way you deploy and redeploying, which of course is one of the key elements of 40k. If you can control deployment, you can usually win, you know?
Okay.
They're a bit nasty, the cult of deception. They're a bit nasty. But I'm not complaining. I like the Thousand Sons. It's how they're supposed to be, you know, so I'm not complaining at all. What else have we got going
So
on?
in Horus Heresy,
Oh yeah, I
got-
forgot about these guys.
yeah, the
They're awesome.
malefactors, the arch malefactors,
The Praetorians.
yeah, Praetorians for the word
yeah.
bearers.
They're very nice.
A lot of the time, I
Um,
find the Space Marine stuff in the Horus Heresy it's nice, but it doesn't grab me.
Yeah, I know what you mean because it's like it's proto Space Marine, isn't it? You know what I mean?
It's
a
not
bit
the
clean.
designs themselves. It's something about the sculpts, and I can't.
Right.
I've never been able to put a finger on it. Everything seems a little bit delicate.
Yeah, I know what you
I-
mean.
yeah.
I kind of get it. And also, when you're looking at the traitor legions, of course, this is before. It's the proto traitor legion,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's sort of before they've got to where they're supposed to be. So they're all a little bit too clean
Yeah,
at this
yeah.
point. The word bearers, on the other hand, are not. They're pretty dirtied up by this point. They're pretty chaosed up, which is nice to see.
Yeah, it's
But these miniatures are
they're
great.
stunning, absolutely stunning, and
Love the Terminator armor.
I can see this stuff turning up in just normal 40k armies.
Oh, people are going to buy them for that.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
they're going to convert them. Of course they are. Of course they are. They're gorgeous minis.
Yeah.
Mind you, I like the word bearers characters as well from Horus Heresy.
Yeah,
Cor
same,
Pharaon's
yeah.
a beauty. He's an absolute beauty. And Erebus. Erebus is a really beautiful miniature. Come on, why isn't Erebus in 40k?
I don't know. I was.
Why isn't,
He survived the heresy, doesn't he?
Yeah, Erebus is still around now. Erebus and Cor Pharaon are both around now. They're both parts of the Dark Council. You know, Erebus is technically one of the highest-ranking members of the Dark Council. He more or less rules Sicarius. You know?
Yeah.
And Cor Pharaon is away from Sicarius. He rules Galmec, which is a factory world in the Maelstrom.
Yeah.
So they're still around, but they're really like significant characters.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
They need to be around. They need to. Like, I mean, I imagine if as and when they get around to like releasing Lorgar, then they'll also release Erebus and Cor Pharaon.
Did I ever tell you my idea of how to do a alternate reality 40k story?
Oh yeah, I think we've been talking about this on the Fluffenhammer, haven't we?
The-
Like the different. The alternative heresy.
Yeah. It led on to a really interesting idea I had, because you've got that Inquisitor, the Ordo Kronos, haven't you? And I just got the idea of a member of the Ordo Kronos going back in time and just throwing Erebus out of an airlock.
Yeah, just stamping on his head.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
Just literally, bright light, walks out, grabs Erebus, throws
Yeah.
him out of airlock, waits.
Right.
Yep, problem solved. No more heresy.
Problem solved. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you've got there yet in your readings, but Erebus. I mean, he doesn't die, unfortunately. He's alive now.
Yeah.
But there are points where Erebus gets his comeuppance.
Yeah. Oh, I hate him so much. I love him. He's great, but I hate him.
Wait until the end of Betrayer.
I'm firing my way through. I'm halfway through Fear to Tread now.
It involves Khan and Gorechild and Erebus's spine.
Oh, yes, that'll do me nicely.
Yeah, it's if you want anyone to give Erebus a kicking,
Oh, yeah.
it's Khan. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. The thing is, I say I hate Erebus. I don't mean that as in I find him a bad character. He's a
No,
brilliant character.
no, you're supposed to hate him.
But everything he does, it just, oh, he's just so beautifully bad.
Like malevolent, and yeah, he is,
His
isn't he?
very
He's
voice is corrupting. He's just a,
yeah,
oh, he's such a
he's
git.
he's a bad dude. He's a bad dude. Is Erebus like probably the baddest of bad dudes?
Yeah, he's just a colossal prick. He's just, I
Yeah,
love him,
he
but I hate him.
is. He really is, and you'll hate him more. He hasn't even gone to the depths yet.
No,
I'm really sorry to say, you're gonna hate him more, especially after Betrayer.
I'm looking forward to it.
You're gonna hate him more.
Do
But
you
yeah, he's around.
think that this Terminator guy, right? Because he's got his little book on his shoulder and everything like that.
Yes.
How would you feel about him being used as a Thousand Sun sorcerer in Terminator armor?
I think you could get away with that. I think you could easily get away with
First
that.
thing I thought of.
He's got like a sorceress quality about him anyway,
really
so I
does.
think you could definitely get away with that. Just a few odds and ends to change him, give him a bit of Thousand Sun symbolism, and he'd be fine. Very
I
easy.
love that
Crested
mace
helmet,
thing that
maybe.
he's got.
Yes, mark of office for the word
Yep.
bearers. Well, they carry their maces as a mark of their faith. It's in emulation of Lorgar, of course, who carries Illuminarum, the big mace that he uses to hit people with.
The beaten mace.
A beaten mace, that's exactly what it is.
This is my mark of office. Also, I will use it to beat you with.
Absolutely.
Then we went into some TV stuff.
Yeah, this was good.
Oh, Angels of Death.
Yeah, I love the color scheme.
Yeah.
The black and white, with the red spot color. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looked good. It looks good. It feels like it's captured the tone of 40K, which is a difficult thing for visual media. They
Yeah.
often have problems with that. But because it's made in house, I suppose it doesn't have much choice, does it? It's going to be made. It's going to capture the feeling, isn't it? No, it's good. It looks good. I'm looking forward to
I
it.
want to run you through my thought process as this happened, right? Because I think it's important to just record this for prosperity. Oh, holy mother of God! They are some Tyranids. Because
Actually, did you see the chat when that
Yeah.
came on? That was so funny. People were saying it's a Vor ship, which I thought was funny. Vor being a very particular proclivity in the furry community. Just don't Google it. Don't Google it. Don't.
leave that alone.
But it is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked great. The sort of Tyrannid mothership
Yeah.
thing. Beautiful creature.
Yeah, seeing that type of thing at that kind of scale, it opened up a whole new level of Tyranid fear for me. It was like, yum.
I want to see more of the big monsters looking like that.
Yeah, definitely.
That slightly. My problem with the Tyrannid miniatures range is sometimes they're a bit too clean.
They're too unified.
I could do with them having like chitinous carapace with crenellations and little like barnacle bits all over them and whatnot. I could do with that. I think that'd look rather good.
I suppose you can make the argument that Tyranids are usually, when you see them, they're just freshly born.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I've said for some time now, the current Tyranid army is too uniform. Yeah, it's when you go back to how they looked in the sort of early 90s when they had that proper codex.
Oh God, I remember that.
The designs were all over the place, and I think that really
they're
worked
mental.
for them. Yeah.
They were mental. I always remember that old Hive Tyrant.
Yeah.
I remember him quite well, and the Lictor. Yeah, they were a small army back then. Weren't they?
Oh,
Only
they were
had
tiny, yeah.
they don't have many miniatures available, and they were all metal.
Yeah.
They're almost all metal.
Yeah. Apart from the old Advanced Space Crusade Hive Tyranids. I love those with their insides.
Yeah, they were ambitious miniatures for the time. They had hollow bits.
Yeah.
God, that went away. They didn't do that very often after that.
No.
The walking zoanthropes.
Yep.
With the big hooves that didn't float. Oh my God, yeah.
They were
Jesus.
good days.
They were fun. And unbeatable.
Oh, absolutely.
They were bastards.
Yeah, the Tyranid army was...
Those Tyranids in second ed, God,
They were
God,
you,
they were ridiculous.
the only way that you could really beat them, if memory serves me right, was Space Marines and tanks.
Yeah, right, right. Oh my
But
God,
it wasn't until
my God.
they turned up in Epic that they got the
Oh, I love the epic
yeah,
Tyranids.
the horror effects and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I love those
Do you
things.
remember there was they had a thing called the Dominatrix?
Yeah, I remember the Dominatrix, the Queen.
Yeah.
It was the Queen to the Hive Tyrant's king,
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
it? The biggest of the node creatures. You know, the hive mind node creatures. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was beautiful. They should introduce that into 40k. They won't call it the Dominatrix,
No,
obviously.
they're Norn queens now, aren't they?
Norn Queen's fine. I could deal with that. But they should introduce that into 40k. It'd be nice having another scale of commander for the Tyranids, wouldn't it?
Yeah, something
And you know,
Titan-sized. Yeah.
modeling it a little bit after the Alien Queen, you know, because that's what it is basically. Yes, I
Yeah.
remember it very well.
Yeah.
Very well.
Just a nice little wander down memory lane there.
Yeah.
They
I
also.
used to love the battle reports. I used to love the epic battle reports
Oh,
when they
yeah.
had the Tyranids and whatnot. I used to love that stuff. The Dactylus and the Exocrines, the slug-like things, you know? Loved all that stuff.
Man alive, yeah.
Anywho.
Of the old Tyranids versus Squats. Yeah.
Ah, yeah, cripes. You could have that then as well. Not much of a meal, squats.
Oh no, but they had plenty of giant cannon tank cities to
Yeah.
get you with.
I suppose. I always feel sorry for the Tyranids when they come up against Necrons.
Just licking the metal. There.
Just nothing to eat.
Bleh.
Yeah, there's nothing to eat. What a shame, you know? Anywho. But yeah, it looks good. Angels of Death looks good. Can't wait to see it.
I love the fact that people are calling it Sin Citadel.
Ah! I didn't see that. I like that. That's
that
cool.
made me chuckle. They also
Very good.
showed a very, very brief little picture of a Sisters of Battle.
They did, yeah. Wow. Very like, close up, extreme close up of the animation model.
Yeah, that looks
Very impressive.
beautiful. Now,
Very impressive.
I'm not going to say that this might tie into something further down, but you know, white hair,
I think it.
bit of a scar,
Yes, this is a battle.
and
yeah,
then
it might.
you've got a guy who's bald with a load of implants as well, spinning in the distance. You know,
Yeah,
could be,
might do.
Could be.
Might do.
could be. And then we had a giant tease. I love this video. The video is great, but unfortunately there isn't much to talk about. So,
No.
Sons of Behemat got announced.
Yeah, I mean, this is really interesting. I mean, destruction tend to be a little bit neglected in AOS.
They really do. You've got the Thraka
yeah,
AOS
the
alike.
Oryx. You know, you've got the Oryx. You've got the ogre tribes or whatever they're called now. But you don't really have much else going on. So this is nice. This is nice, and I like the way they introduced it using that sort of fairy tale motif.
Yeah, yeah.
Because again, giants do have a very fairy tale quality about them, and you can see where they could draw inspiration from. You know, when they were naming them, you know what I was thinking of? The BFG.
Yeah, very much so.
That's what I was thinking of. And if they go down that route, I'm all in. I like that.
I think that the current Gargant stroke giant miniature is about to get retired.
I think that might be very likely.
And
It's been around for a while.
he's been around like 12 years or something at this point, you know.
Do you remember the old Marauder one
Oh, I love that guy.
from a long
Yeah,
time
with
ago?
his-
He doesn't feel very giant anymore.
He really doesn't.
There's a lot bigger things than him around now, I can tell.
I love the fact that you used to be able to have giants in the Empire armies.
Yeah, right. Once upon a time,
it-
giants were just they were kind of mercenaries, weren't they? You could have them in almost any army, really.
It's weird to me when just because you brought up Marauder, I think it's a nice little place to drop it in. It's weird to me that I think back to when I was younger, and I always thought the Marauders were the also ran miniatures. You know, they never seemed as good. I look back at them now, and I'm like, actually, no, these are actually better in a lot of ways than.
They were really good. A lot of those sculpts were really, really good.
Do you remember the Orc Warlord on the Wyvern?
Oh my god, that's an old
Yeah.
miniature. Yeah, I do.
I was looking at him
yeah,
the
I
other day
do.
and just thinking, actually, no, the Marauder miniatures were astonishingly good.
Yeah, I remember well. Early tree men.
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
Which were not good.
No, they weren't so good.
They were not good.
But that giant, it's one of those ones where I've considered a few times, do I get the current Gargant kit and try to sculpt that face onto it?
To make it look like that
Yeah.
guy, like that giant,
Yeah.
yeah? God, I mean, yeah, you couldn't use him as a giant now, he's too small.
No, I mean, he's basically the size of, well, there's things in the Auric armies which are about the same size, so, you
Yeah,
couldn't
right.
really do much with him.
You couldn't really, no, it wouldn't fit.
No.
But the current one has been around for a while, and it could do with retiring now, maybe.
I think what we'll do is we're going to get slightly bigger.
Yeah. Oh no, I imagine what the Sons of Behemat army is going to be a bit like, you know how the Imperial and Chaos Knights function
Yeah.
in 40k, where you have like a very few miniatures in the army, but they're big.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my guess. That's my guess.
I think it'll be you'll have a couple of Gargants, and then you'll have just little helpers or something running around underneath.
Yeah, something like that, maybe. Yeah, something to that effect. And it sounds like they're all different as well. Like you've got different type and species of giant that do different things, and I like that. I'm interested, and I want to know what their background is. I want to know like the Sons of Behemat. So what does that mean? Where do they come from? What's their culture like, and all of that? I mean, obviously they're going to have a fairy tale fee fi fo fum thing going on, which is fine. I like that. I'm well into that. They're obviously going to be, they're going to eat people.
Yep.
That's a motif of giants. They capture people, stuff them in their bags, take them home and cook them. That's what happens. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. I like the idea. In fact, the storyteller in me is whirring, and it's actually thinking of what it would be like to be like a child in a city that's under siege by a giant or by 3 giants or something like that, or if the giants come to your town or your city. Great fun. Great
I
fun.
love the names of them. The Gate Smasher and the War
Yeah.
Stomper and the Kraken Eater.
It's rolled up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's totally Flesh Lump Eater, Blood Bottler. It's all that stuff. It's totally rolled up. They are so going BFG with this. And I like it.
Aye.
I really like it. I'm looking forward to seeing what is in it. What it's about, what they look like.
Well, I'm excited to see them using the God Beasts again in some way.
That's nice.
In some way that sounds like it's going to make sense, because the God
Well-
Beasts were a weird one where they just went, here they are.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they kind of moved away from it, didn't they? Behemat has kind of turned up a few times.
Yeah.
Because he was one of the most significant god beasts. He basically became the terrain for epic battles.
Yeah.
He became the setting. He's that big. He became the setting. So I understand that. Something more about the god beasts would be nice. I have to say.
Wouldn't it be weird if they didn't retire the new, the old Gargant, but just kept him as the smallest of the small?
As the smallest of the Sons of Behemat.
Yeah.
The runt of the little. Yeah, why not?
I'm going to just quickly fire through a couple of little bits, and then I'm going to hand it over to you, because I think you're the one who's going to get the most excited out of all of this.
Oh, well, I was just shocked.
Yeah.
Just surprised.
So they also had an offer to look forward to, which is that if you spend 50 quid on virtual vouchers, when you come to use them, you get an extra £5 for every 50 quid that you've spent.
That's very sweet. That's nice.
Yeah, quite nice way of doing it. They're calling it the time of reopening.
Okay, I like that.
I quite like. There's going to be more
quite cute.
psychic awakenings coming.
Yeah, of course, yeah. What was the Pariah?
Yeah, Pariah.
Pariah. And surprisingly, what we're going to talk about next features.
Oh, very much so. Very much so.
I was surprised. And also Pariah. What does that suggest? I mean, we know what pariahs are. Pariahs are human beings who have that very particular genetic inclination where they have no echo in the warp.
Yeah.
They have no psychic presence at all. Which makes them abominable. Even other human beings who are near them, people don't know why, but they shirk away from them. They feel unsettled to be in their presence. So, and to psychers, they're absolute abominations. They're like horrific to be around.
Aye.
So it's where the Colexus temple comes from.
Yeah.
The Colexus are like, to psychers, Colexus are the most horrific thing you can imagine. Imagine like a phobic reaction, and then amplify that to the power of n, to the point whereby you can't even function because of it. And that's what psychers feel when they come up against a Culexus.
I like to think of it as a like a concentration breaker, where
Yeah.
where you've got like a sound in the background and you can't control what you're doing. Just that taken
Yeah.
to the nth degree. So
Yeah.
everything is just completely topsy turvy, and you can't
Yeah.
decide or make decisions or.
You can't function. Yeah. When psychers are around Culexus, they can't function. They are hateful creatures. The Culexus are absolutely hateful. But yeah, what does that mean? Does it mean that the Pariah is going to actually feature the assassin temples? Do you think?
I think that's a very strong possibility.
Interesting. Interesting. I've always liked the assassin temples, I've got to say. In terms of background, I find them fascinating.
Yeah, they don't get enough fiction, as far as I'm concerned.
No,
there was
they
a
don't.
wonderful one in Deathwing, which is it's the last Deathwing story I still need to read for the YouTube, and it's all about a the shape changer assassins.
Calidus.
Thank you very much.
No, it's not Calidus,
no,
is it? No, it is Calidus. Yes,
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
Calidus.
You confused me, sir.
I'm getting confused too.
And it's all about her infiltrating a gene stealer cult.
Right.
And of course, it's Melindy who turns up again in the Ian Watson Inquisitor books.
Oh, right. Oh, that's cool. As a prequel.
Yeah. Because
That's cool.
part of the Inquisitor books is getting her fixed so she can use her skills properly again, rather than just becoming a gene stealer cultist.
Right, yeah.
She
Polymorphine is a hell of a drug, isn't it?
Polymorphine.
Polymorphine is a hell of a drug.
I love that name. It's so good.
It's great, isn't it? It's such a cool idea. It used to be a war card once upon a time, a war gear card in 40k. You actually used to be able to give it to your heroes as a piece of equipment.
Oh yeah.
So they could actually like transmute into a member of the enemy army. It's so silly, so bizarre, so strange.
Before we get into the last bit, then there's just two other things I want to quickly go by. One is, I don't know if you've seen this, but do you know about the Warhammer Initiative?
The Warhammer Initiative new?
No, I didn't know about this either. Basically, it's a thing that they've been doing with schools.
Oh, okay.
Right? They've opened it all up now for everybody whilst the current lockdown's taking place.
Of course.
So if it's got various things in it, like numeracy, literacy, it's loads of different stuff. If you have children at home and you want to get them into Warhammer, you could do it by learning, or
excellent.
the other way around,
Yeah, I mean, in these times, I suppose Warhammer is kind of an ideal hobby, isn't it?
Yeah.
It focuses, it will eat up hours, it's a really good hobby to be doing in social isolation, I can tell you.
It's bloody infuriating that this is the only time in my entire life this will happen, and I don't have time to take good part of it. It's ridiculous.
Right, I know exactly how you feel.
I would love to just be. I see people talking about being bored, and I'm just screaming at them. How
dare? Yeah, right. Fucking. I just want to swear.
Yeah.
I just want to swear. Bored? Oh, no.
But then again, I don't think I've been bored since I was 14.
No, I can't remember bored.
No.
I must admit, it's a very distant, dim,
Yeah.
nostalgic memory.
Yeah, very much so. The other thing I was going to quickly just say before we get into the last bit is, have you seen Adeptus Episode 5?
No, I haven't.
I would recommend.
Much to my shame.
Yeah, I would get a chance to watch that, because that is something else. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to spoil it. Oh boy.
Right? Yeah, it's good.
Oh yeah. You thought parts 1 to 4 were good. Nah, you've seen the precursor.
Okay, excellent. I am looking forward to it. They are impressive bits of work.
The fact that it's fired up the community as a whole, as they're trying to pull together all these bits and pieces of the puzzle to work out what is happening here.
Yeah.
It is so good. It's like.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. I'm surprised that visual media it's becoming like a thing again for Games Workshop, because they've always had trouble with it. It's always been difficult to render. But now it seems that they've hit it. It seems that they've actually got the right people involved.
Yeah. Well, they're doing it in-house.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
You've got your own lawkeepers making sure that things are done right.
That things are done properly.
Yeah,
yes,
because that was the major issues with Ultramarines.
The problem is the ethos, isn't it?
Yeah.
it's always capturing the right feeling. That's the problem, because the feeling of 40k is very particular and hard to pull off.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's hard to pull off. It really is. Anyone who's ever tried to write in the universe will tell you it's difficult to pull off. But yes, shall we? Shall we?
Go on then, George. Take it away, because I think
Yeah.
that you're
Well,
really champing at the bit for this.
but the thing that surprised me the most, the thing that dropped in and really was like the earth-shattering moment, Demonifuge.
Mm-hmm.
Demonifuge. I mean, this. There are people who like read Inferno way back in the day. When Games Workshop first started doing things like comics and whatnot, I mean,
Yep.
Demonifuge was probably one of the biggest. Next to like, what was the one that featured the Blood Angels?
Blood Quest.
Blood Quest, yeah. Obviously, Malice Darkblade,
Oh, yeah.
obviously,
I forgot about Malice Darkblade.
Malice, yeah. This is probably one of the biggest of them all.
Mm-hmm.
It was huge. It was absolutely huge, such that people remember it to this day. And to have it looks like a big hardback reprint of the entire run.
It is. It's also been coloured,
Yeah,
which is an interesting.
But you know what really surprised me? The miniatures.
Aha!
What the hell? What the hell? I mean, I can never remember her name. I always used to think of her as Demonifuge, and I know she's not the
Ethereal Stern.
Ethereal Stern, that's right. To have her as a miniature to use in an Imperial army, and the thing is, it's going to be really interesting because she's not just going to be Sisters of Battle.
No.
Because technically she's not.
No, she's not.
She's not part of any of the Ordos for the Sisters of Battle. She's off on her own quest, you know?
Mm-hmm.
She's almost like a mercenary in certain ways. She's on this almost like penitent quest, isn't she?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So, yeah, but the one that I really loved was her little Harlequin friend.
Yeah, right. Okay, so having Stern, that's one thing, and that's really, really cool, and I love it to bits. But I did not expect to see her Harlequin friend.
No, I did not either. And the way they've rendered him,
Oh,
with like the holograms
Yeah.
coming off the base, and yeah, it's exciting stuff. It's exciting stuff. What has she been doing? For example, I mean, obviously, these guys feature in Pariah.
Mm-hmm.
They feature in the Psychic Awakening. So where has she been?
yeah.
What has she been doing since the events of Demonifuge?
I can't remember how that story ended.
I can't remember how it ended. I can't remember what she did at the end.
No.
I can only remember bits and pieces, you know, from Inferno.
Yeah,
So I'm looking forward to reacquainting myself with that, though. It's a beautifully done comic series, by the way, guys. It's ex-2000 AD artists, so
Yeah.
it's really good, really stunning artwork. It's worth reading just aesthetically, as 2000 AD often is. You know, it's just worth flipping through.
How do you feel
know?
about the fact that they've coloured it?
Yeah, I'm into that. I mean, I like black and white comics fine. I
Mm-hmm.
really do. I like black and white comics. But I am into it. I'm interested to see how it goes, you know?
Yeah. I'm in two
And what a-
minds. I'm very much in two minds.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to have how it was.
Yeah.
You know, how it was intended to be. It would be nice to see. Because black and white comics were a thing back then, obviously.
yeah,
They've been a thing in the UK for the longest time. Oh, God, I still remember the furor when Transformers stopped being colour. Oh my God, you know? Oh my God. I'm sure Simon Furman does as well. I have to ask him about that next time we see him. But yeah, it's exciting stuff. If they do Demonifuge, does that mean they're going to do some of the others if it's successful?
Possibly. I mean,
they
Titan had a reprint a couple of years ago.
It did,
which,
of course, Titan
to my
did.
annoyance, I never picked up.
Did Blood Quest?
Oh, actually, I think it did.
Didn't it? Blood Quest had a reprint at
Yeah,
one
I'm
point.
sure it did. That sounds familiar.
I'm sure it did. Through the Black Library, maybe? I'm sure it did.
I'm going to look that up.
I used to be able to get the Blood Angel Captain from that as a
Yes,
miniature.
yeah.
Once upon a time. I always remember the story that featured Fabius Bile.
Yes, that's right.
And I always remember the
my
line,
God.
how often do you get the pleasure of hearing a Blood Angel scream?
Mm-hmm.
Fun stuff, eh? Fun stuff.
I'm going to go through my my old copies of Inferno because I've been getting the reprints. There's a story in there called the What is the Fear of Death? I'm going to try and maybe, I don't know, I want to do something with it to try and get people to pay attention to it. Because I remember reading it
Yeah.
back in the day, and it was really nice American style art for the time.
Yeah.
But I read through it last time when I got the reprint, and I was just blown away by how good it is.
Oh, it's good, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember it being this jaw-droppingly good.
Right. Right. Okay.
And all it is a Dark Angels captain and a Dark Angels chaplain.
Yeah.
And the captain is shouting his orders, and the chaplain just keeps asking him, "What is the fear of death?"
I remember that.
And it is, "We die, our duty unfulfilled."
I remember that. They
Yeah.
featured that in White Dwarf or in one of the giveaways.
Yep, they did. They did.
One of the free giveaways. I remember that one.
It's one of those ones where if you think back, it was everywhere. They had this short story everywhere they could, like they were aiming to do something with it.
Yeah,
And then,
I remember.
then they never did, and it's a really weird one.
Yeah, that was It featured maybe on one of like the free little giveaway comics
did,
on
yeah,
the front of White Dwarf. God Almighty, that was.
It was the free Warhammer Monthly.
Oh, God, that was a while back.
20 years ago, my friend.
Stop
20
it.
years ago.
I did a podcast recently with the author Lex Jones and a
Mm-hmm.
guy called KC Duggan, who is a member of a band, and we were talking about Resident Evil.
Yeah.
And Lex pointed out that the remake of Resident Evil from the GameCube is almost 20 years old.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, shut up. Shut
Yeah, that'd be like
up.
2004, wasn't it?
Yep.
Jesus. Oh, dear. Right.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not going to think about that any further.
That 15-year-old played like the original Resident Evil in a cold bedroom one winter. He's a long time past.
Yeah.
He's a long time past. Wow.
Yeah. Wow, right. Now that I'm nice and impressed.
But yeah, Demonifuge and Ethereal Stern
Yeah.
as a 40k character.
I'm hoping this opens up a few doors to do things like this. I mean, I would love to see Malice Darkblade turn up in the AOS landscape.
He's so dead though.
I know, but
He's so dead. I mean, the demon burst out of him
yeah, I know, but
and crushed his cold one, and he's dead.
yeah, I know, but Malice is cool.
You know what though? Lots of characters are dead. Eltharion was really dead,
True.
and they've kind of brought him back, so you can get away with it. You can definitely get away with it. They could bring Malice back.
Tell you what.
I mean, maybe. I mean, you never know. Maybe when they do Malarion's lot, maybe when they do the Elves of Ulgu,
That's kind of my thought. Yeah,
why not?
Little reference
Why
in there.
not? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
even
I would
if
not
somebody
be
was
surprised.
carrying a sword that had like the spirit of Malice in it, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, right. I mean, they could even introduce him into a demon army, since him and the demon
true.
Sarkhan kind of fused together at the end. You know, they could do that.
Yeah,
He was a character for the longest time.
he was. Yeah.
He was actually a character in the Dark Elf army once upon a time. On his cold one, Spite.
Yep.
I like that. Spite. It's such a cool name. If I have a cat again, if I have a new cat, I'm gonna call it Spite.
Right
It
at
would
the
fit
battle.
as well, wouldn't it?
It
fit
really
for a
would.
cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much the end. Then we've got everything.
Yeah,
there.
definitely. I mean, for one thing, I need to eat. I need to have some curry.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. And
Definitely.
I need to go and look after a small child who
Of course.
it takes up all of my time.
Of course. Well,
Worth it though.
I mean,
just in case anyone's wondering, I'm not complaining. It's worth it.
yeah, no, God, this is fun. This is really fun, and of course, we're going to be doing a few more of these.
Yeah.
it
So
seems.
we'll follow their pattern. We'll take next week off. Just because we've
Yeah,
done
why
two
not?
back to back, and then we'll try and get together and do the next two as well. Because this is
Yeah,
actually a
rocket.
really fun way of doing it, where we're using their releases to springboard off to talk about different things.
It's other things. Yeah, it is kind of fun. It is kind of
I'm
fun. I have
really
to say.
enjoying doing these. It's
Yeah, it's nice. It gives it a bit of structure, I suppose, doesn't it? Gives it a bit of structure.
Yeah, the structure's over there, and we're like heading in the opposite direction in a Ferrari.
Yeah, yeah, we're more like the Chaos Star, aren't we? You know, it's like in all different directions.
Spin, spin, spin. Which direction do we go?
But yeah, I mean, I'm just looking forward to what they said in the feed was that they've broken up
Yeah.
the reveals because they had loads by all
Yeah,
accounts.
well,
They had
they had
loads of
a
stuff.
2.5 hour slot for the stuff that they had at Adepticon.
Right, right.
So they've broken it up really nicely, and by having the people to talk about it and do an hour and a half each Saturday,
I liked it.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think it's
loving
been
it. I
really
think it's
good.
great.
If when they go forward, even when like the whole lockdown is over, maybe what they should do is look at doing both at the same time.
Yeah.
So doing like the reveals at the conventions, but also doing the video feeds as well, because I think they're quite good.
Oh, I'm loving them. It's interesting to put faces to names that you've seen kicking around.
Yeah, yeah,
And
it
even more
is.
so when you're getting just the people talking about it. And also, I love Wade. I think Wade's great.
Yeah,
He's got such
I
a
like.
nice nature. It draws people in.
I like the way because they're hobbyists, so
Yeah.
they talk about what they're doing in the hobby, which I like.
Yeah, yeah,
I just like, I like that as it's always going to be my thing.
yeah. It's all good.
I mean, just at the end again, I just want to shout out again, Kirioth was right.
And just in case he's listening to this one, hi.
He was right and vindicated totally, and I'm still so excited about Fabulous Bill.
Oh yeah.
Oh, oh,
Yeah,
oh,
absolutely.
my God! I mean, I still haven't got Abaddon. Even though he's beautiful, I mean, he's a great miniature. I still haven't got Abaddon. He's not as exciting for me, but Fabius.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think that's
Oh,
what's going to
yeah.
pull me right in. At some point, I'm going to end
Yeah.
up doing it. What I've been considering is because I know for a fact that if I allow myself to do 40k, I'm going to end up with another 50 projects.
Yeah, that's the way of it, isn't it?
So
I
what
mean,
I'm
you know what I'd love to do? I'd love to go back to my first love. I'd love to do an Adriani army.
yeah.
I haven't touched them for years and years and years, but I'd love to. I'd love to, but it would take forever.
Well, do you remember I was telling you about my idea for some point down the line to do a big kill team weekend where we play Ink 28?
Yeah.
How does this sound for a plan? Because I was thinking about this earlier on. We set something up in the group and just go, right, everybody make a kill team stroke Ink 28 warband based on the first army you ever did.
Oh, that's a lovely idea.
Yeah, because
That's a lovely
you don't need to
idea.
do too much, but it gives you tons of modelling scope because
Yeah.
each character by themselves will be their own character.
Oh, I've got to have a warlock in mine. It'd probably be a warlock leading mine. I don't think you'd have a Farseer in a kill team. They're too high ranking.
Probably not. Although you could have some like low level Farseer trying to make his name.
Yeah, could. But I think a warlock would fit better
Yeah,
somehow because they are battle psychers, aren't they?
They are, yeah,
that
yeah.
would be nice. An exarch from one of the shrines,
So
like a striking scorpion exarch stalking around. That'd be great fun.
no, the fun thing is it means I'd have to do a Dark Angel.
Ah, right. Okay.
But
Interesting.
yeah, I think I'd probably go down a slightly different route with it. I'd probably make my own chapter, but make them all Deathwing. But I mean,
Well, make them go for an Unforgiven chapter.
no. I've got a much better idea not much better idea, but a different take on it, which is to make a chapter entirely based on the Deathwing from the short story Deathwing.
From the original, yeah, I know what you mean. Yes.
So I get my Native Americans, I get the Cloud Runner,
Yeah.
the Lame Bear, Fierce Weasel, and do that. Which is, could be
They
quite
are
fun.
so not that anymore.
Oh, they've gone full European,
They have. They've gone full like medieval. They're knightly orders.
Yeah.
They're knightly orders now.
Nope, I want Cloud Runner, damn it.
And monastic as well. They've got that monastic thing going on, which I love, by the way. I love the monasticism of the Dark Angels.
Yeah, I agree there.
I do. I like them a lot. My favourite loyalist, non-loyalist chapter.
Right. I'll just go through this before we close up. I still find it really weird whenever anybody gives the lion his full name in the Horus Heresy books.
Lionel Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a joke that feels a little clunky now. Thankfully,
Yeah.
I think most people don't know what the joke is anymore.
No, I don't think they understand that it's the poet Lionel Johnson who wrote a poem called Dark Angel.
Yeah.
And if you actually read the poem Dark Angel, by the way, then you get pretty much like a potted history of the Dark Angels and their ethos, which is kind of fun.
That's true. It's true.
It's yeah, they did that a lot though back in the day.
Oh yeah.
A lot of them are puns, you know. A lot of them are puns. Some of them I can't figure out where they come from. Like Fulgrim, I'm not, you know, I'm not quite sure, unless it's like Fulmination, you know, sort
Yeah.
of like the Light Bringer or something like that. But other ones are obvious. I mean, Angron is
Yeah.
fairly overt, really, isn't Mortarion fairly clear, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Sanguinius fairly clear.
Well, actually, that's another one. Going through Fear to Tread, right?
Mm.
The Now I know this is something that's changed since my first thing, because I've never really looked at the Blood Angel since that
Oh, right, okay.
second ed codex, third ed codex,
Oh
right?
God, yes, they have changed a lot.
Oh, very much so, because you've got somebody who's succumbing to the rage, and
Yes.
I always remember the rage being the Blood Angel in question relives Sanguinus's final moments. That's what causes the rage.
That's
It's not
what it
there
used
anymore.
to be.
Yeah,
That's what it used to be.
and that's weird to
But
me.
actually, the Horus Heresy has introduced the notion that actually the rage was there.
Yeah,
And not only that, but Sanguinius and the entire chapter hide it. They
they
go to
do.
great pains to hide it, and it's very naughty of them.
As much as Fear to Tread isn't a great book,
It's not the best.
that sequence with Horace seeing Sanguinius shoot one of his own, I like that. I like that a lot.
Right, right. And it does get pretty dark when you get the other books that involve the Blood Angels. When they lose it, they lose it. You
Yeah.
know, it's very interesting. It's very interesting. But I'm fascinated to see now, as a result of that, what that means for Sanguinius towards the end.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it like a preemption, do you think? Could it be that, like Sanguinius, his sons have inherited like a slither of his foresight, and it's like the death of Sanguinius echoing back?
I think that's exactly what it is.
I think that's what it is too. It's the inevitability of Sanguinius's death.
Yeah, Sanguinius is one of those tentpole characters that has to die. It's like a
Yeah.
fixed point in time.
Yeah, and he knows it
Yeah,
too, which is
yeah.
interesting. He actually knows that that's the case towards the end.
And it's one of those things where, as I've been going through them, I really want to do something that is Sanguinius looking forward to his death and knowing it. You know,
One of
what
the,
is that on a metaphysical scale?
Right, and one of the loyalist Primarchs I actually like.
Oh, he's,
One of the
he's
very
really
few.
nice. I really like him.
Sanguinius is great. Sanguinius is brilliant. You know when Reboot Gilman, when he establishes the Unremembered Empire,
Yeah,
which is basically like Imperium Secundus. He steps down as the Lord, as the Emperor, and establishes Sanguinius.
that's very cool.
He says that Sanguinius would be better at it than him.
That's really cool.
And Sanguinius obviously is very diffident and reluctant, but does take the mantle, which is really interesting, yeah?
Yeah.
And within the confines of the Ruinstorm, they rule for a long time. Because time is distorted. You know, that empire sustains for a long time before they burst out again.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Interesting, eh?
Right, anyhow,
Yes!
we need
Curry time!
Yes, you need to go and get yourself some food. So,
I need to go.
with all that being said, is there anything that you want to quickly throw out to the lovely listeners, Mr. George?
Oh, there's always stuff. Yes, my fiction you can find on Amazon and at strangeplaygrounds.com. Short story collections, Essential Atrocities, Strange Playgrounds, and Born in Blood Volume 1. Volume 2 coming very, very soon. You can find me on the YouTube channel Exaggerated Elegy, where there's all sorts of stuff. And you can also find me on the Twitter feed Enigmatic Elegy.
Excellent stuff. As for me, you can find my continuousing? That's not a word.
Continuousing.
Yes.
I like that.
My continuousing. Watch me continuous. I've got two things at the moment. One is Daily Discworld to Live By, which is every day I put up a quote from a Discworld book by Sir Terry Pratchett.
Of course.
Which, surprisingly enough, is keeping me sane. Just finding these little nuggets that I'd forgotten about, and just spending a couple of minutes thinking about them, and then getting on with my day. It's actually a really nice way of starting my day.
I can imagine.
So I hope that everyone else is enjoying them as much as I am. The other thing, of course, is a short-term project that I've got called Better Than Life, which is the good ship BTL, where me and my friend Glenn pretend to have a topic and we just talk nonsense. We're just kind of getting everything together at the moment, getting stuff out weekly, and then we're going to start throwing it out to the community that we've managed to build over the last few weeks, because it'll all be from the people who are in the Facebook group. So if you want to have a look for that, please come and join us, because it is the stupidest thing I've ever done.
Brilliant.
Oh my god, yeah, we actually managed to beat Free Stick with
Is it-
Nicholas Tesla's coil.
Is it stupider than the Creeks becomes?
I think we've surpassed that.
Wow, because you get increasingly drunk as the Creeks goes on.
Yeah, unfortunately, as I went teetotal end of last year,
Right.
last October.
Right.
It's a whole different type of stupid.
Yeah, of course,
It's
right.
a lot speedier.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't want to spoil it, but Glenn's continuously ever evolving title is just getting better and better. It's right now he is the urethral real admiral.
I love it. It's great.
It's going to keep going. Right, so with all
Brilliant.
that being said, we will get out of here. Thank you very much for listening, and we will see you guys next time. Take care.
Bye-bye. Hey. Lovely. Lovely stuff.